So as you can see, I'm logged into Tailwind and I have got, well, right now I have about, let's see, almost 2 months of pins scheduled. So I'm serious about this. I'd like to keep at least 4 weeks of pins scheduled in advance. Pinning that much can be a lot of work, but because I do like to have so many pins scheduled, I have found some little shortcuts, and that's what I'm going to share with you right now. So I'm logged into Tailwind, and I do have the Tailwind Chrome extension turned on as well. And then I'm also logged into Pinterest. Now you could go through and schedule pins just from your regular feed, right? So here they are. I just click the little Tailwind extension and a bunch of different pins pop up, and I can just choose which ones that I would want to post or schedule to pin rather, and then hit go to schedule. But then I just end up with a lot of different types of posts to schedule. So I will have to go in individually and say, okay, this one's going to go to my blogging board, and this one's going to my art board, and this one is also going to my blogging board, and this one is going to a different art board, and this one will go to my plants and flowers board, etc., etc. Oh, and if you're doing, 20 pins a day for the whole entire month, you need to get that 600 pins up pretty quick. And this is just a more time consuming way to do it. So I'm going to just delete all of these and show you a much easier way. So one of those ways is to go to a board that is run by a person that I follow. So I'm just going to click on following and then find a topic that I feel like pinning about today. So let's say it's flowers. Those are always nice. So I'm already following this person, this board, so I know that I must like what they pin. And look at this. Tons of beautiful floral images and peonies everywhere, which are my favorite. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and hit that Tailwind Chrome extension button and then go through and just grab some pictures for my own plants and flowers board. And I just run through really quick, grabbing those that catch my eye. You can tell I really like peonies, and obviously she does too. So look at that. I've got 19 pins chosen from this one board, and now all I have to do is type in flowers and plants, and it's automatically going to be scheduled to those boards. Now, I can tell already that there are a couple of issues going on with this, but normally I would just hit schedule all and it would go straight to my schedule. But the thing that I noticed is that this one is missing a source URL, so I just delete it. I don't take the time to try to figure out where that pin came from. There's another one that's missing a source URL, so I delete that one too. Another thing that Tailwind will do is if there's no description, they'll force you to make a description for that image. And that's fine. So those things might take you a couple extra seconds, but now I can just hit schedule all. And if I'm trying to pin 20 pins a day, I basically just pinned 1 day's worth of pins in, what was that, 2 minutes? So now I need another 29 days worth of pins, and I can go and do the same thing over and over with different types. I wouldn't do all flowers, so I would go back to my feed, the feed where I'm following people, and let's say I wanted to pin about DIYs. So then I can go to this pin, go to her awesome DIYs to try board, and do the same thing. Just click on that extension, go through, click a bunch of these pins, and then schedule them. So that's one of the easy ways that I use. I'm going to just go ahead and cancel that. But what I want to show you too is that now in my schedule, I'm going to refresh this page so that they'll show up down at the bottom here. So I don't really want to pin 19 pins of flowers right in a row. Super easy. All I have to do is hit shuffle queue, confirm that I want to shuffle my queue, and now they'll just be interspersed throughout my schedule in a random order. I typically don't do that for like each board that I go and take a bunch of pins from, or schedule a bunch of pins from. What I'll do is I'll schedule, say, 100 pins or 200 pins, and then go in and shuffle, and then come back, pin more pins, or save more pins rather, schedule more pins, and then go back and shuffle my queue again. I always make sure that I shuffle my queue again. I don't want, to pin a bunch of one topic just for like an entire day. I want it to be mixed up and just add more variety to my feed. All right, in the next video, I will show you another way I schedule a bunch of pins in a very short amount of time. See you there. So I also signed up for some emails from Pinterest, including getting suggestions about boards and pins and followers that I might like. Let's click on this one. And so it says, if you like marketing tips you might love, and then it shows me a bunch of different boards. So I'm going to click on this blogging board. And I'll give it a general look over to see if it's something that I might like to pin from. And yeah, a lot of these pins look high quality. In fact, I recognize some of them because I've already repinned some of them. So I'm going to go ahead and again, click on that Tailwind Publisher app. And again, quickly just go through and decide on some pins that I would like to schedule. Ha! See, I'm not the only one who loves Tailwind. And again, I'm just going to go down and click Go to Schedule. And because all of these are about blogging, once again, all I have to do is type in blogging, the name of my board, and then it automatically is going to schedule all of those to my blogging board. Again, this is good. I like it when little problems like this pop up because these are things that you're going to run into also. So it shows a little yellow exclamation point right here rather than the green check mark. And that's because I've actually pinned this pin before. Now I could go ahead and still schedule it to pin it again if I think it's valuable content and that my followers will really appreciate it. And I do believe those things are true, but you can see I just pinned it about a month ago. Now, if I had pinned it maybe 6 months ago or even a year ago, I would definitely repin it right now. But in this case, it's too recent, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it from the list. And then everything else looks good to go. And all I have to do again is click schedule all, and all of these pins will be added to the bottom of that list of all my scheduled pins. Now, if I really loved the board and pinned a bunch of pins from there, I could also come back and just go ahead and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and follow this board. I think it has a lot of informative and lovely pins for me to share with my followers, so why not? So that's the second way that I schedule a bunch of pins all at once and add to my queue and fill it up for those 4 to 6 weeks in advance. I hope this has been helpful for you. There's one more little trick that I want to share with you about scheduling a bunch of pins at once, and that is for when I'm pinning my own pins, typically. I sometimes use this in other ways as well, but for today I'm talking about pinning my own pins. So, and that is with word lists. As you can see here, I have lists of boards under different topics. So especially when I'm pinning my own business posts, all I have to do is go to my website and say I want to share this blog post about how to start a blog that makes passive income. Well, all I have to do, again, is hit that Tailwind Publisher and grab one of these images, or multiples if I want to, hit Go to Schedule, and then here I can just put the business posts and it automatically fills in all of those boards. Now, if you notice the yellow ones, that means that I've pinned to those boards before. Again, depending on how long it's been, I may or may not decide to repin this to those boards, but I would also go through and make sure that it was actually appropriate, because just because it's business related doesn't necessarily mean it's related to all of these boards exactly. So I can tell that, like before, I didn't post it to branding for creative businesses because that's not what this post is about. It's also not about Pinterest, so I can delete that one. It's not about handmade shop tips. That's a group board that I'm on. So as you can see, I would just go through and delete the ones that it was not appropriate for and then leave the rest. As you can see, I mean, I've got probably 20 boards here or something. All right, I paused it and counted. I have 24 boards there. That's an entire day's worth of pins with just one pin. Again, I would go ahead and add it to the queue now. It would then be added to the end of my schedule, which is down here, and you can see it there. I mean, I wouldn't want to leave it like that, right? I would want to mix those up. So again, I hit Shuffle Queue and done. Each of these ways only takes maybe a couple of or a few minutes each. So as you can see, it would be really easy to just fill up your queue on a lazy Sunday afternoon or a Monday morning when the kids are in school, whenever it might be. It might take you a couple of hours or so, but then your pins are scheduled for the rest of the month and you don't have to worry about it at all. You can add, of course, your own pins as you add content, like I mentioned in my article, but for the most part, it's done. And I absolutely love it. I don't have to worry about my pins. I don't have to worry about losing traffic from Pinterest because I'm not pinning, and it's so easy and pretty fun too. Oh, and one more thing before I let you go. I also wanted to mention Smart Loop. It is a new feature coming from Tailwind, and I have signed up for it, but it's in beta, and so they're only letting a few people use it at a time, or a few new people use it at a time. But this is going to be a real game changer for Tailwind. It's going to make it even easier, even better, especially when it comes to pinning your own content. So if you have, say, an art print that you can sell over and over and over again, you're going going to want to pin that over and over and over again. When you're doing your monthly pinning, you might go to your shop and repin it every single time. Well, with Smart Loop, you don't have to do that anymore. Set it up once and it will just repin for you on the schedule that you set. So obviously I can't give you a demo of that today, but as soon as I'm able to, I will go in and change this video to show you exactly how that works as well. But it's exciting.